Alright, people, welcome to another fine episode of Who's That Anime with your hosts Steve and Colin. We're there. We finished almost. We'll finish the storyline of Steins Gate Zero, and
We've reached Steins Gate, or have we?
I don't know. Like it's one hell of a roller coaster.
Yes.
It's been up and down, and kind of like, this is all right, and then it's up, and then it drops you down a 90 degrees, like drop, and then you fly up the other side and come down and
Bit like an Alton Towers roller coaster.
a bit like Alton Towers roller coaster, which is a roller coaster in the middle of England, theme park in the middle of England, even.
Yeah.
Not just
well,
a-
I mean, the
not
roller
just-
coasters are there too.
Yeah, there's roller coasters there. Was it? Yeah. So, you remember how we were on about like last episode? We were like,
Mhm.
"What the fuck just happened?" type thing to like, how did we end up in the future for like the first 10 minutes?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So-
yeah.
I rewatched the episode before that again,
Uh-huh.
and there's a bit after the credits
Oh.
where it just kind of goes and like glass breaks and like the time
Oh
thing.
wait. No, I did see that.
Oh, you seen that bit, yeah?
Yeah, I guess I didn't even really think anything about it. To be honest, like they keep throwing numbers at the screen. And it's like, oh, this is it. And it's like, those are numbers that might be different to the numbers I saw the last time.
Yeah, certainly do that. Like to throw up numbers.
Better than gang signs, I guess.
Do they not? Did they not have like a time where it was just kind of like it started to go back and then it just like and then it broke the glass of the watch.
Probably.
Oh.
Kiyoma's definitely thrown up loads of gang signs though.
Oh,
He's all swishy and shit.
he's full on Power Ranger in that shite, man. old school Power Rangers.
It's some good stuff. So, as you alluded to, we've this is it. This is it. We've reached the without the OVA,
Climax.
which we're going to cover the OVA. We'll do that after this, but we've reached the climax of the season, the final episodes, episodes 22 and 23. We left off last episode where Kiyoma had failed to recover to save them in the time machine again, Suzuha and Mayuri.
After his bold claims.
Oh yeah, he was very bold in his claims that he had fixed it all this time. To be fair though, he did lock a lot of shit down. So
Yeah, he also got blown away by how he failed again, literally.
yes,
He was caught
explosions are fun.
He caught a nice big explosion for sure this time.
Yup.
Feel that guy should probably be dead just from all the
several times over. The pressure wave alone would probably have done a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, and then also the entire ethos of breathing and all that dust. It's not good for your lungs.
No, it's definitely not.
They say that he's meant to die in 2025, so like in 3 years.
Well,
and all that
that's
dust,
an interesting thing.
All that dust he's inhaled over the time.
That's what's done it.
That's what done it, man. It's his lungs. His lungs are gone.
Is it that's a thing we'll probably get to at this point because there's a conversation around his death in 2025. So today we'll be discussing the last two episodes in Steins Gate Zero. That's episodes 22 and 23. Starting off with episode 22, Rinascimento of Projection, Project Amadeus.
Oh, they're just big words, man. Like
They are.
It's always just big words.
But as we discussed previously, at least this time it's not thing of thing.
Yeah, I suppose.
Has been that for a little while, actually.
Oh,
Oh well, yeah. There was a thing of the thing
yeah,
was episode 20. It's
yeah,
like, yeah, I guess
yeah,
we'll change the tense and maybe the ordering, but it'll be fine.
yeah. So, was it this one? He's back in the lab, deflated again. Uh,
Yes.
and he's talking to Maho and Daru how it's not worked and stuff like that, and he's like can't save them or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
he snaps out of it pretty quick though.
yeah, well, Daru tries to snap him out because like, oh, come back and be the insane guy again. I love that shit. And he's like, nah, I'm going to go upstairs and go and get some air now.
I love that shit. He does love that shit.
Yeah,
He thinks it's the greatest in the world.
yeah. And then Maho goes up and then throws Amadeus in his face.
That's right.
And,
Fucking Amadeus.
and then they talk about some shit. How, like, there's a way to get around it. He's just not really thought of it fully yet or something. And
Yeah, the same conversation we've had maybe 10 times this season now.
yeah, where you don't think about anything.
Hey, yeah, hey, maybe you were thinking impulsively these last years.
You mean like
you know,
ever since like, you like became whole G, Kuyo?
yeah, like yeah. Ever since the sort of time where Mayuri died, it's like, hey, maybe you've not thought straight since then.
Yeah,
Maybe you've let literally everything cloud your judgment every moment of every day since then.
yeah. I think that's an accurate assumption for him. And then he just starts. He turns back into Hoji Kajima.
Ohin Kyoma.
Homa. That's the one. Just think of Metal Gear. That's it.
Just think of the way that Ferris always shouts Kyoma. That's the way I always remember it because it's like the if I want to hear what Ferris's voice sounds like, I imagine her saying Kyoma
Kyoma.
or right meow.
Yeah. Uh, Kyoma. So yeah, he said, "Ha! That's what I wanted you to think. Me defeated the organization just to throw him off my path, off our scent." And then Amadeus is like, "What? Oh, what's got into this guy?" Uh,
We go through this whole thing again where everyone's like, "What's wrong with him? Why is he doing this?" And Dara's like, "Yeah."
yeah. Well, he goes in. It's like, right. Well, I'll explain. I'll explain the gist of what's going down, and then he writes on his whiteboard saying, "American, this company, and this DARPA lot, and Russia all want time machine. It explodes. I can't save it. It's like a
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he goes through the plan. He's like, the building was locked down. You know, Derpa were taken care of, and I want to call them Snafu. I know that's not their name, but the other one were sort of all sort of catered for. So like we were all good, but the Russians are the problem.
yeah." And he's like, "That's the problem." And I'm buying out ideas, and Amadeus is along the lines of like, did he hit his instant at some point?
The answer is yes, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, he got royally punched in the face like last episode.
yeah,
Like
like
literally.
to the point where I legitimately thought he had died.
I mean, his
I
nose
do
is pretty
think it's pretty
broken.
funny though. Yeah, it's funny though because Daru is like, oh, thank God that sort of unhinged, directionless maniac is back to lead us.
Yeah, yeah. And then discussion where Dara's like, yeah, you know what? He is a fucking prick in this mode, and but I love him
Yep,
still.
yep.
He's
This is how he's supposed to be. This is our leader.
this is old Okabe. and
Yep.
his unhinged ideas always seem to go through because he's unhinged and over enthusiastic.
Oh, he's so unhinged, so unhinged.
Yeah.
But then they basically get to the stage where they think, well, it's like, well,
Ah.
how do we figure this out?
Yeah.
Because the Russians are the ones to stop.
Yeah.
But considering they've utilized all of their resources already to get this far, how can they do that? How can they sort of figure that part out?
Yeah. Well, I think I want to just backtrack a wee bit to the
Okay.
point where it's like, so what's your masterful plan, old leader? Or you got one? It's like, nope. And then they'll get shown. So why what type of science are you? It's like I did this bit, like 2/3 of the situation. I just need the help with the last third.
Yeah, I got this far. I just needed you to push me over to the doing it bit where we could do the thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have no plan. Sorry.
And then Maho gets up and goes, right, well, let's think about it then. And she starts stretching indoors. Oh wow,
Oh God, that's
we're
right.
we're teacher pose, and it's like what the fuck. And then
That is so fucking cringy.
Okabe's like, you know what? I'll just help you. Here, let's draw. And then
And
it
her
cut.
face is like properly beetroot red as
Yeah,
she has been hoisted up to the board to be able to draw on it.
yeah. And then he kind of like cuts off screen. He just hears double two loud slaps, and then it cuts back to them kneeling and going. And she's on a stack of books.
Yep. And then both with very large red welts on their face.
Yeah, and she's holding a slipper.
She is, yes.
So
That's a good point.
I imagine it was a slipper that.
They got theirs.
Yeah, we got the. Yeah, there. Anyway, so they're talking about that, and then it strikes. Okabe is like, "Oh wait, I need to do some sleuthing," and then they look up Chris's father
That's right.
because he hasn't been mentioned. Well, he did appear in the first episode.
He yeah.
OAV or the first episode.
Well, he appeared in episode 0, which is the OAV of the first season, technically.
Yeah, because he doesn't appear, but there's
He's
like
mentioned in the television, I think.
a news broadcast down where it's
Mm-hmm.
saying that this guy's work's been thrown out again by academia.
That's right. In this instance, the whole thing is that they're wondering how the Russians even get the information to become part of the race in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it turns out that in this timeline, Kurisu's father has successfully made it to Russia because the metal UPA was still there.
Yeah, and he got to Russia and passed on his theory, and then
Kurisu's theory
yeah,
that he
Chris
stole.
yeah, that's right. Because I think that was like, oh well, Chris's the theory for time travel was there, but America wouldn't like be so open handed to like share it with Russia. It would be a lock and
Mm-hmm.
key. But then it's always been spies in Russia to get it over.
Of course.
Not to mention that the professor was playing his hand into the war.
Oh, yeah.
It was made in like a couple of episodes, I'm sure. It's like, haha, I have manipulated these two great power sources to make me great.
They're all his pawns.
Yeah, apparently. So that, and then they all like, okay, so we need to then go back further in time to the point where this message was sent out and get the Russians out of the equation.
Yes, they need to, because they realize, of course, at this point that I think the inflection point is just before Amadeus is like properly online.
Yeah,
and but they're saying it's like, well, so what we need to do is use the phone wave to go back to then. It's like, well, unfortunately, that won't work.
Yeah.
Because the phone wave ain't been around that long.
Yeah. That won't work. 'Cause we can't send you back that far.
It's like, well, okay, let's do this the old-fashioned way then. Let's send a D-mail. And it's like, oh, but if we do that, then that has to go through CERN's direct route, which would basically let them know that they had been sending messages.
Yeah, it goes through CERN, which they have. You know, they'll pick it up for some reason. And then Dara's like, well, you know what? I've been testing this new OS. Super secure OS Remy. But
Rhine.
Yeah. I thought it was Remy. Was it Rhyme?
What? So the reason I say it's Rhine is I had the subtitles on. It's called because he calls it D Rhine.
Yeah.
And it's an app. It's a custom app he basically has created that he was the only person to be using for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I say that is because I think there's a Japanese social media app or social app messenger called Line.
Oh,
and
right.
I just wondered if they were doing
the classic,
much like the IBN and CERN with an S and DARPA, all that sort of stuff. I figured they were just doing that again.
Oh no, they were totally doing that again. I think you're right. They like doing that.
But the gist of it is that in creating this message, Daru basically made it so that messages could be sent back into the past again, but not using CERN's information. But because it's a custom app, it meant he could only send it as far back as him creating and using the app in the first place, I think is the caveat.
Yeah, which is so happens just to be last year. Just in time.
Mm-hmm.
Just
in time.
Just in time. Not just in time. Which is like a
different thing.
A herb based superhero or villain.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, they basically then have the conversation around like, okay, so what we need to do is we need to send a message back to Daru in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And the message will be, hey, you need to delete Amadeus.
Pretty much, yeah. They got to delete Amadeus because they're like, oh, who else has that information? Because like the laptop got blown up by the Russians.
That's right.
And oh wait, there's Amadeus. So she goes, hi, I'm here still. It's like, oh right, Amadeus. Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah.
That isn't going to work. And she's like, well, it'll be me. Hence why.
Yep.
And then the Okabe was like, oh yeah, actually that makes sense because last time you got taken away, I shift world lines.
Oh, that's right, because that's the time he went to the world line where Kurusu was still alive.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
makes sense.
Anyway, so she's like, well, you got to delete me here too. And then he's like, oh, fuck, not this again.
Yeah. Really don't want. And then essentially the episode from this point on becomes Kurusu and Okabe going on a mystery tour of Akibara. It's like, oh, show me this guy, show me this, show me these things. Yeah. The world's fun and stuff, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't really feel good about getting rid of you because I worked very hard to, get things the way they were, and even now this is still weird. And she's like, well, I'm just a program.
Yeah.
I know you don't think of me like that, but I'm just a program. And when you fix all of this, you'll be able to go to Steins Gate, the world line, and Kurusu will just be there.
Yeah.
But he seems quite frustrated at the idea that now Amadeus wouldn't have existed because he almost treats Amadeus as a separate person.
Yeah. Basically a substitute portrayed Kurisu.
Surrogate.
Surrogate, yeah, Kurisu. When he does actually call her Christina on the rooftop. I was like,
He does.
Shut it, Christina. That's not my name. That's not my name. I don't know
But
that one.
I don't know if that came through the microphone or not because I've got my noise cancelling on.
Did not.
I did clap there though. I clapped.
It made a weird noise.
Okay. But I think the kind of because the sort of gravitas of this part comes when he is really grappling with the idea that this is really the only way. I think he's getting really frustrated with how blasé she's being about it.
Yeah.
Like how easy this is. It's like, well, it's just logic. Just do the logical thing, and I need to go away. And it's like, but no, I don't want to do that. Is it? Well, but you have to. And he's like, but I had to kill you to make things the way they are, and that was very bad. I did not enjoy having to do that, and I was asked to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't like taking these kinds of requests from people.
Yeah.
In particular, you.
Yeah. He basically goes on to the point where it's like, yeah, but then you wouldn't exist at all in any form.
Yeah.
And then she's like, it's fine.
Again, like, it's really interesting having like this really emotionally one-sided conversation where it's like, I am really not okay with you never existing. It's like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so anyway, they go through with it.
They do. Daru sends the D-mail.
Yep.
And the D-Rhine, sorry.
Yep. And Mahol deletes sends her authorization code to delete her, and she's like, I'm deleting myself in a robotic voice.
Yep.
And then breaks out at the last moment. Don't forget, I'm great. Bye. Or something like that. I can't remember what she said.
It's essentially something like that. It's like, I am super awesome. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Yeah.
Well, there's sort of her and Maho have a bit of a moment.
Yeah.
In the sort of like, Kurisu is confident that Maho will do more than she ever could, and she'll more than supersede her work.
Yeah. That's what she's doing. Yeah, that's what it is. And then Okabe says his goodbye while
Yep.
I will do this.
Just as everybody gets zapped.
Yeah, and then that's the end of that episode.
It's a really tight episode.
Tight?
Yeah, like it all sort of there's very little non sequitur. It just sort of really leads into each next thing and takes it to where it needs to go, which I suppose at this point in the game you really need to be doing. So
I mean, like, this is the second last episode of the story.
Yep.
And
I must admit, I was like, well, I think I know where this next episode's going. I was wrong. I was wrong.
Well, where do you think it was going?
Well, we'll get into that.
You mean the next episode's coming up?
Oh yeah. Like I was like, oh, now that this episode has ended like this, I know exactly where the next episode's going. Nah, I didn't. Didn't have a clue.
No.
It turns out.
I don't know. This episode, you say it was tight, and I was like, they had that wee wander around where he gets to say his long goodbye to her, I suppose. Again.
I think it's interesting. Like it's really difficult to do. I think it's they do one-sided emotion very well. Like it must be very difficult to try and have like an emotional moment with a thing that feels no emotion.
No, it does.
It's not. Well, Kurisu is not upset about going away. She's like, oh, just do the thing.
She's more. logical. But then I think that's also kind of like her.
Her personality to a degree, I
It's
suppose.
always been her personality. She was kind of like that in the last season as well.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think
I
it's
mean,
more just like it being a
except
mirror of the previous
yeah,
Kurusu, and her attitude to life and existence
yeah,
was, in the grand scheme of things, I don't matter, which I think is a very sort of weirdly selfless, almost like bordering on nihilism.
yeah. She was a nihilist, man, and she stole that toe. That's all I think of nihilism now. Whenever I say that I'm nihilist, I just think of the Big Lebowski. Guys in big black rubber like latex suits going around. What's it called when you stick someone's head down a toilet and flush,
Swirly.
swirling them? 'Cause that's what happened. See, and he's like, I think you got the wrong guy, dudes. No, no, you're totally him. You're totally thinking of Lebowski, and it's like, no, I think it's the wrong guy, dude.
Swirly's more.
Yeah,
Um, how do you rate that episode then?
I don't know. I think it's maybe an 8.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's
Uh, taking you where you need to go.
yeah, yeah, it is. It is taking us there. So yeah, that's it has its moments. It has its like thing, and people openly judging Okabe and his alter ego, saying, "Aren't you
Yes.
embarrassed by doing that?" And
Yes.
then he's like, "Oh shit, it is really embarrassing, really, but
Yeah.
gotta pretend."
Like all the time. This
Yeah,
is embarrassing. This
yeah,
is never not embarrassing.
yeah, yeah. Um,
So, well, this one basically cleanly segues, of course, onto the last episode, episode 23, Arclight of the Point at Infinity, Arclight of the Sky.
yes. What's it called? Vega?
Vega and Altair,
Yeah. Is it Vega that they say is called the Arclight in Western other country overseas?
maybe.
Oh,
Uh,
it was mentioned. Pardon
well,
me.
speaking of things that have been mentioned before, and while I still remember the word, I'm going to say it now, that the word Higoboshi comes up several times in this episode. So before I forget how to say it or to pronounce it or that the word is a thing entirely, I'm saying it.
Higaboshi.
Higoboshi.
That's Okabe
It,
to
it's
to
him.
Mayuri.
Yes.
Yeah. So, uh, so things have changed because
Yeah.
in the last
New world
episode,
line.
at the end of the credits, it goes 1.12385 is the word line number.
Oh, impressive.
I don't know. I know it's 1.12 something. I don't claim I can recite pi. The nth.
3.1415267.
I
I
mean,
don't know. I think I'm pretty sure I'm right up until 3.141.
3.141.
1.
That's good. That's better than me. 3.14.
You know, there's a guy that can recite it to 27,000 decimal places.
I mean, how long did it take him to do that?
A very long time.
How long does he just know how to work it out?
No, he just knows it. He just remembers it.
Then what is pi? How is that even a concept and what's it worked out from?
It is terrifying how many things all go back to pi.
Yeah, but is it just
It's like
uh,
a mathematical constant.
okay? I mean, yeah, but why? What is it? What is it? is it like an equation or something? It's like this is the number of Earth and life, the universe, and what we know it. 42.
Hang on.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna get the definition because I'm gonna be wrong
just full on
otherwise.
Douglas Adams shit,
Oh,
man.
cool. Right.
Uh,
Okay. So that was a good start for me. The number pi is a mathematical constant.
okay.
That is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter.
Okay, yeah.
Are you with me so far?
I'm getting you, yeah.
So if
Mm-hmm.
I take the circumference value of a circle
Huh?
and divide it by the diameter,
Yep. It always is.
I will get pi. It will be 3.14159.
Etc.
3.1415926535897932384626433.
Okay. So the fact that people can recite it up to like the billion like number,
Yeah.
all that is just memory strength to decide. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to learn that the entire string of numbers all the way
Oh,
up to this point.
totally. It's the guy. There was a big documentary on him because he had. Pretty sure he was. Was it autism? He had a disorder on the spectrum, but was quite high functioning. So was still able to, like, not in the way that you might struggle to socialize and things like that. He was able to do that. So he had like a lot of the weird quirks of that, while also retaining a lot of the social strengths that you might lose normally. So he like learned Icelandic in a week, or he could calculate large sums so much to decimal points so far that they had to go and get different calculators to find out whether he was right or not.
Because the other one didn't go that far.
Yeah. It's I wish I could remember the guy's name. I watched a documentary on him.
David Jones. Davy Jones.
What's his name?
Ted
Daniel Tammet.
Tammet.
He can speak 11 languages,
Alright. Cool.
and he can recite pi to 22,514 decimal places.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, there was a dog. I mean, the documentary is from years ago, like it's like 15 years ago or something like that. It's a really a long time ago. Oh, sorry, it's not autism. Apologies, that's my ignorance showing. It's Asperger's syndrome.
Alright.
And savant syndrome. So, yeah. But his whole thing is like he can do pretty nuts things with his memory.
That seems like it. Wow. Well, there you go, man. I mean,
He's basically, I think, like, obviously this is very reductionist, but he's basically the same sort of syndrome symptoms as Rain Man,
yeah.
but without the need for a Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I mean, it's like, no, actually, think about it, right? He said he was able to do math sums to, like, a weird point.
He could do them
Decimal
in his head.
points. Yeah. So, and pi is just basically the circumference divided by the diameter.
Well, I think he also has synesthesia.
That's sinister. What's that?
I think it's the thing where you visualize. Like, I think it's that numbers, and every number has a different color and shape and feel.
All right. Okay.
Like, so. And I think it was like when he was asked, like, what's the answer to this maths question? He would, like, there'd be a color with a shape. and he would be able to associate that with a number, and that number might be, I don't know, 82,562,782 point da 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 da, and it's like, well, that number's this color and shape. It's like, okay, that's a lot of colors and shapes.
I was watching a YouTube short about some guy, and he's saying that he was able to identify colors in real life to their color value. He like
Wow.
to
Could
like
he?
yeah, apparently he did. He
Holy shit.
he basically was. It's apparently his mate said, "Oh, it's this," and then he says, "Oh, that looks like it's 25 red, 50 blue, and 16 green." And it was like, "Wow!"
Wow.
And then they
That's
did
amazing.
a color check, and apparently it was because he did it for so long. He was like analyzing different colors uh,
That's so cool.
for some programming thing, I think.
What's like the guy? You ever seen the guy that does the GeoGuessr thing?
Yeah, I've seen some guys do that. Yeah,
This is the one where you like watch it. He's like, oh, okay, so I'm going to see an image of a place, and there's going to flash on the screen for half a second, and then I'm going to guess where it is.
yeah.
And like he's getting within like 50 miles. Like, how? I didn't even see the image. I think I blinked. And he's like, oh, it's Peru. How? How do you know that?
Oh, anime man. It's like the other one that's like basically is like, oh, I'll get this image. Boom! It's an image from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in Egypt. Or boom! It's like the middle of Akabara from the Steins Gate.
Nice.
I tried to do a
Damn.
guess for a couple of times and not.
I think I'd be pretty bad at it.
I wasn't terrible. I mean,
Eh.
sometimes I was like on the wrong side of the world, but it wasn't terrible.
I think I could be pretty terrible at it.
It's like a five guess game, and you get to browse around the area in the Google Maps to try and work out where you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Cool. I would I would be very bad at it. I predict.
It's free. You can always go and play it now. We can go and play it live on this podcast.
Fuck,
For-
let's not do that.
For all your intensive
Your
purposes.
your geoguessing needs. Where were we? Oh yeah.
I think we just started. We've not even started the episode, man.
We haven't. So basically, we're in the New World line. We've established that.
Yeah, that was in the last
and
episode.
He basically, with the immediate effect of having sort of like come into this world line, he immediately sets about heading to the rooftop.
Nope. Nope. I'm
No?
sure he has a conversation with Maho in the lab.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, what are you doing here
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
early? And he's like, I've come from the future. Or something, I don't know. And then he like, does he enlist the gang again?
I can't remember. I thought this was just like my memory of this is that he kind of comes back and then is like, "Oh shit, gotta get to the roof."
Yeah, pretty much. He's going up there, but he has Moloka and Tail with him. So he's like at the
Yes.
radio building, and he notices that Kaguri's there already. He's like, "Well, she's down here already."
She's early.
Yeah, she's early. And then he starts making up the tower, and then Leskinger comes up and goes, Rinthro, I should have known. It was you all along. How much of the truth do you know? Type thing. And he looks very perplexed over things.
But this is the bit where he goes, "Well, I'm from the future, motherfucker. Maybe you want to know some stuff. What do you want to know about the future and things? Because you know some stuff, but I know other things."
Yeah, pretty much. It's basically, yeah, the professor looks a bit disheveled. Like, things have not gone the way that he thought things would be going.
Yeah.
And a bit tiresome. And then he was like, "Yeah, I'm from the future, and I'll maybe talk." And then, yeah, crack shot to the back from Moloka.
Yeah. Yeah. Mocha fucking strikes him down hard. Meanwhile, on the rooftop, Mayuri has not been shot this time. Suzuha is still about, but Kaguri has murdered a lot of people real hard.
Yeah,
And shoots Judy Reyes in cold blood to the face.
pretty much. It's like, yeah, I won't let you harm my mother. And also,
Yeah, it's just super like unload, like just bam.
yeah, I think it's preluded at the start that maybe Kaguri's brainwashing isn't complete.
They do mention that because there's a shift, and it's because is it because of some of the information from Amadeus is not known in the future, that is like an incomplete part of the thing. I seem to remember like Amadeus's existence basically feeds into the brainwashing.
Yeah, there's a scene in Future Listeners image where he was taking Kaguri for PSD hypnosis type stuff.
Yep.
And turns and then he puts like a bit of paper down and says Amadeus Kaguri.
Yep. Not anymore.
No,
He didn't do that anymore.
no. But yeah, maybe it's that, but it's not because the professor alludes that Kaguri's been with them the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, she escaped from the brainwashing camp, and came to you into your custody. What have you done to her? Type thing.
Yep.
And like, oh, maybe their brainwashing isn't complete. And then
Yep.
she down out murders everyone.
Yeah, and then he's made unconscious, and then they head up to the roof, and there's a bit of Okabe, of course, still manages to get shot in the leg because Moika didn't act quite fast enough.
Yeah.
But he's okay. So he and Moika head up to the roof, where of course Kaguri's having a bit of an existential crisis as before, because it's like, oh hey, Okabe, you want to make it so that I never meet my mother.
No,
I'm not okay with that.
no. Basically, Mayuri's trying to say, I'm going to go back to the past, and she's like, I won't let you go back to the past because it won't work.
Yeah.
It never works. It doesn't work. Type thing. You can't be going, and her Kaguri and Suzu have a big have a big shootout, and or start
Yes.
fighting each other, and then Kaguri
They're both lying on the ground, very hurt.
Kaguri basically just waltz Suzanne in the face with her head. Good Glasgow kiss.
Yeah.
It's a Glasgow kiss.
Yeah.
And then Kaguri gets up and then points a gun, and Susan points the gun to her while she's on the ground, saying, "Don't you dare do it! We gotta do this." And then Mayuri just goes, "Do. I'm going to stick my head between the two guns," and it's like, oh, that was scary. I had my eyes closed all time.
Genuinely my favourite part of that. It's not her eyes closed. She's like, I held my breath this whole time.
Oh, that was it, yeah.
She puts her head in between the two loaded guns pointed, and then it's like, oh, this is bad. Yeah. Like, this is a person who just clearly has no regard for their own life anymore.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, what is it, the one thing that both these individuals are known for? Is it their, like, calm and collected nature and mental stability? No. It's their abrasiveness and their downright ability to jump to violence.
Pretty much. Anyway, so none of them want to actually shoot Mayuri though, luckily.
No, they don't.
So they pull the guns away.
It disarms both of them.
Yeah.
Like, physically and mentally sort of draws them back, and they get into the discussion of like, well, Kaguri doesn't want this to happen because basically all it's going to do is mean that she never gets to be with her.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I get that. But then it's like, no, well, Mayuri, you gotta go. Suzuha, you too. It's like, but what if? What if? Kagura, just come with us. Just come with us.
Yeah.
We'll have ever so much fun.
Yeah. I can't remember. Okabe appears like around about this point.
Oh, he's been there for a wee bit. He was privy to the fight and the her sticking her head in between the guns, I thought.
No, he just kind of pops his head out at this point.
Really?
Yeah. To go, yes, Myra, you have to go, and I will, and you'll get us to Steins Gate and sort everything out. You gotta do this. And he also there to convince Kagura. Well, because she's like, I still don't know. Like, I still don't think that's going to happen. And then they go, and they're going to take Kagura with her, and it's okay. I'll come. That'll be cool. And then gunfire starts happening in the stairwell as Mocha's there with her pistol.
Yeah, it's like can't hold them off long.
Yeah, you gotta go. Warzone's happening. 30 minutes. And then so Mayuri and Suza jumps into the time machine, and Kagura stays behind and goes, right, well, since you're Maya's thingy. What you said at the start of the
Hegaboshi. Yep.
Yeah, I'll stay with you and protect him for Mayu.
Yep.
And she'll be back.
I will protect him for you.
Yeah.
And also, you better fucking make this happen. I am trusting you.
Yeah. Because I think that's one. I think it's that point. She basically Mayu explains to her that she has to save her Higaboshi.
Yes.
And then she has a flashback to the point where older Mayuri, mother Mayuri, was basically saying, "Oh, maybe I should have hit my Higaboshi to steer him the right path."
Maybe I should have slapped him upside the head like I did that one time.
Yeah. And then that's when Okabe appears at the door and goes, "Yes, you must do this, Mayuri, lab member 002."
002, yeah. Go and do the shit. She's like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then the gunfire happens and she stays behind.
Kagura decides to involve her submachine gun in the conversation and wastes a bunch of soldiers. Just leaves them dead immediately. It's quite amusing.
Yeah, and time machines starting to take off in the background.
Yep.
And then Leskinar's
helicopter.
Yeah, Leskinar radios in for air support. I need air support. Stop. And then the helicopter appears.
Fucking helicopter. And this is the bit where it goes into slow motion and Okabe's like, but it's okay. It's all been leading to this moment. We just have to do this one thing. And I was like, is he going to jump in front of that missile?
I thought that, or I thought Kagura was going to like just snipe it down. Because she'd be able to do that. There's
genuinely a moment where you're just like, why is this slowing down? Why are they talking like that? What is different this time? Because like the last few times you've obviously not been able to do anything. Are you going to jump in front of it? Because that's maybe the only thing you could do.
Yeah.
And then the irony, they do nothing.
Yeah, nothing at all. Because and then it kind of enters the area where the time machine field is.
Yeah.
And then
passes through.
Yeah. Hits the fence at the back. I don't know. It just explodes.
Yeah, it just explodes. But you can see that this time the machine had already began dematerializing in a way, and it wasn't interacted with. And then, of course, there's a huge, massive explosion, massive dust clouds, people thrown all over the place, so on and so forth.
Well, you say people, only the people down the stairs.
Well, yeah.
That's true. None of them up on the room next to the explosion.
Nope. That's a good point. They're all fine.
They're all, except from, like I said, the dust and insulation.
Yeah.
Inhalation.
But as the dust begins to settle, all we hear is the maniacal laughter of Hoen Kyoma
Well, you see his face as it went through. He has like the overhead crazy shot.
Oh, it's so funny.
And then yeah, he has his mechanical laughter as the shoulders rush up the stairs, and
Yep.
Lessian's there, and he goes, ha 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 ha! You fools! You underestimated the power of Hoji Kojima.
Nope. None of those things, but okay.
It's actually he also does he not like have a whole like at one moment he like has a whole whoop type just whoosh sound before he's like starts talking about um his alter ego.
Maybe.
I
Maybe.
think he does that.
I just
I think
I'm always like just sort of like, what is going on?
I think that's like either last episode or maybe episode 4. He just has like this. Anyway, so he's like that, and Mocha and Kaikisi also appear from within the dust cloud that is an
So
explosion.
so they're okay.
Yeah.
Uh and then we cut to the rooftop again
Uh,
where and it's Daru and
Mayuri?
Mayuri.
Yeah, because it's coming into the last,
The last episode of the first season.
second last episode of the first season.
Second last episode.
Because it's
Yep.
like, it's when he goes away the first time and
Yes.
kills her and is about to come back, and then it's like,
And it doesn't work the
Yeah.
first time. Yeah.
and
And it's when he comes back and is like, well, you give him some space. He's seen some shit.
yeah, pretty
He's-
much.
He is not doing good. But of course, before that all happens, we see the time machine coming back.
I've seen 2 time
The
machines.
next, we see another time machine there also.
Mm-hmm.
And Mayuri's phone begins to ring.
From
And-
herself.
It is herself. Yeah.
How is she what magic is that? I mean,
I don't know.
the only reason that you know it's this person, my understanding of Holmes, is he saved that contact to your contacts. But
Oh,
does she have like
to
a
be
burner
fair,
phone?
though-
Is that what
Well,
happened?
no, to be fair though, on iPhones,
Uh-huh.
there is the concept of my number, and it is associated with your basic information.
Okay. So, but it'd be the same number as in the original phone.
You would, yes.
So
yes.
So you would not be able to phone the same number.
No, because it would
Be
be
engaged.
engaged, unless of course like she has caller ID.
Oh, maybe she has caller ID. Or she just has a burner phone for all her shady dealings in the background. I think it's more the burner phone.
Yeah.
Uh,
Burner phone seems right.
Yeah.
But yeah, she essentially, it seems like what we had originally thought is that, hey, the Mayuri that slaps Okabe and changes the course of the future isn't the Mayuri that's standing on the rooftop there. It's the other Mayuri. And then I said, hey, does Mayuri have to stab and murder herself so that she can take over the other Mayuri?
Yeah.
And then I've now realised exactly, oh, this is how they got around that.
Yeah, she just phones from a phone in the time machine and not step out.
Yeah, and to be fair though, the whole rationale behind that, I think, is like that I think they would have preferred to have not been in the time machine and got out. But it seems like the time machine is malfunctioning and running out of energy and has just going to do some wacky shit.
Oh. No. So it was denoted that the time machine had not enough energy to do a return jump.
To do a return jump, yes.
But at the same time, I believe. So basically, they have the conversation and it says, "Maya, you love Okabe, right?
Yep.
You love your
Hikaboshi.
Hikaboshi. And you know what he did for you at that time? Think back to that time, because he's basically just killed Karisu, and it's not going to be right. So you're going to have
Yep.
to slap some shit into that motherfucker.
You're going to need to do a little bit of forceful change here.
Yeah.
Um,
And then they only have a minute because the other one will jump back. It only disappeared
yeah,
for a minute in the time where it's been also longer and fast. And then they jump out again because then that would create some weird paradox shite that Suza is saying. But they
yep.
don't have enough energy to go anywhere, and they're going to get spit out at some point in time. I
This is genuinely this is genuinely sort of quite sad, I feel, because at this point, of course, it's not as I say it's going to be, but for all sort of intents and purposes, you're like, oh, so you say that you're going to a random time, but we know that accidents happen on these things, and this is very much seeming like sort of, well, it's been good because I don't know how this one's gonna go.
yeah, I don't know if they're taking a bit from like Doctor Who esque time traveling, because that's what happens to him when it goes all wrong. He kind of jumps about, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I think because the thing that got me is that it was the screen was brightening really, really brightly. It's like sort of like kind of that metaphor of moving towards the light. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a shame.
Well,
And Suzuha is like kind of quite emotional and upset that, oh, I dragged you here, and the worst, like maybe the worst thing that could happen, we don't know, but most likely we're going to be stranded.
yeah. And she's like, "All right, oh, that's cool. We did the shit that we needed to do." Type thing. I'm sure my Hikaboshi will save us somehow.
Yep.
Anyway, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm sure you're right." So
And then they just fade out
yeah.
into whiteness while laughing. You're like, oh. And I was like, well, I think they might be dead. That's where I went to immediately with that. It's
Yeah.
like, well, but at least in the new timeline, maybe they'll be okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what says with that. What is because this is the same thing that kind of happened in the first season at the end when he actually does change the timeline, and Suzuha kind of just fades from the time machine in front of him,
Yes.
and they always had like that the bright kind of like flirty things when you do the time travel. That was a part of the time travel
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah,
so
that's
that
true.
they just intensified the brightness. They turned the contrast up or the brightness up on this.
So, but yeah, they're gone now.
Yep.
And of course, the other time machine comes back, and as we discussed, Brokabe comes out the time machine, and he's all like, oh, I did the thing, oh, but it didn't work, oh, that's good, not so good, oh no. And he's just covered in blood and mumbling. It doesn't seem very good.
I thought you were doing an Elvis impression there.
It's like Susan has like, okay, maybe let's give him a little space. He's not doing so great right now.
Yeah, and then look at the text, and it goes, "Oh, look, it's my Metal Lupa with the dude," and
Yep.
then he says, "I can't be doing it. I can't be doing it. I gotta go. This it. I'm done." And then he kind of looks up and sees Miuri there, and he goes,
Yep.
and it's like, "Oh, okay, that seems to thing. Now let's watch the wee video now this time." So they start watching the video and
Yes.
cuts to the future.
Yeah, it's the highly produced video that was received the first time.
Yeah, on a weird camcorder thing that
Yep.
it's probably out of date now already. Um, and I love the lighting effects that they had. They had like a wee mirror at the side where they're getting the
Yeah,
light
yeah,
on his face.
they had the whole thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
like all about it. And then
I have questions though. I
oh,
have so many questions.
let's
Well,
let's leave them to then.
okay, yeah, no, you're right. So yeah, basically we're seeing the video that was at the end of the last season, this is the video that was received after the slap.
Yeah.
But we're seeing it in more of its full form.
Yeah. So
essentially...
That video was...
No, go on.
That video was there in episode 0, 23
yes.
beta.
Yes.
But you just didn't look at it because you didn't get the slap.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's basically him giving himself instructions on how to save people.
Yeah.
But this is where we talk about the bit where
Dario Maho is there.
Yeah, well, so this is right. Okay, a couple of things. One is because we talk about the fact that he's going to die in 2025, right? Because it's in the year 2025 that this message is going out.
Yeah, but this is after. That's talk about after this video. So he has his video. Let's do it in order. So he has his video.
Oh, okay, go.
I mean, it's never really stopped us before, but let's do.
No, it never has. But you have a better grasp of the order than I do.
Yeah, so we got that. Then it cuts to Daru and Maho talking about it because they also did a recording of Daru to be sent back to Suzuha on the rooftop in the other world line earlier.
Yes.
And talking about that. And then they cut to basically him doing his final thing, going El Sai Congru at then
El Sai Congru.
And then it goes to him and says, "Oh well, I thought you're meant to be dying, but you're like going to be the test pilot for like the inauguration of like the first time machine."
Yep.
I was like, yeah. So I just think about it like this: that I didn't die. I just jumped to another world line, but I technically died in this world line because that's something I'm sure they said in the first season. It's how Karisu justifies him leaving her in that reality because she's saying, I'm probably haven't died, I'm just living my life out in this thing. Who's to say that whenever you do these things you're actually killing the world line? The world line still exists.
Yeah. But now confirming that the world line does exist, but just without the person.
Yeah, he's come back to fulfill his promise.
My frustration is less to do with like that. It's more to do with the fact that there's a lot of talk about his death, and his death is passed off as, oh, it was just a metaphor twice.
I mean, technically he was dead in the first time they talked about it, when he was in a coma for like 11 years.
Like, even at that, it's like, but he wasn't dead.
I mean, he didn't have any...
The fact he came back at all was an accident, granted.
Well,
because he didn't actually come back. His brain was dead.
Yeah, his brain was dead, so they rewrote his memories on top of it. So
fair.
Technically he was dead then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
You allow it?
Yeah.
Still... no, you don't. You don't allow it at all.
But also, so this is the whole bit where as you say, they're organizing. It's like, and I'll send this message here, and then we have to send this message back to Suzuha, and Ruka, you need to do this, and everyone else needs to do that, and so on and so forth. Why is Kagari there?
Oh,
as an adult?
Because she stayed with him to fight. At the end, she didn't die.
Oh God. Okay. Yep, I got you.
Also, she's cut her hair.
But wait. You go back and she went back in a time machine, which means she actually left the world line. Which therefore means that she no longer existed in the future. So just aged and then got back to there?
Yeah.
Because we need to be sort of clear. The time machine doesn't really do jumping across timelines.
No. It goes back.
It does travel within a timeline, whereas, well, the D-mail also only does messages within
The timeline.
the timeline, but the phone wave does the same.
Yes, this one week does the same.
Okay.
Because
Alright.
he has to go back to the point in every time in that timeline that he was in and change it at a certain point to go
Yeah.
switched.
To get a divergence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Switched down.
Okay.
So they're all on the same timeline. You don't ever.
You can't travel across timelines. You can make changes to deviate timeline, but you can't switch between them via those methods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. We're good. We're good.
And he has his big last farewell to them as they all line up as his subordinates.
Yep. Maho gives him a big hug.
Yeah. So the Kagari thing is a bit weird because when does Mayuri get Kagari in the future?
Exactly.
But
Well, she doesn't in that timeline. This is where it gets this. There she doesn't, and this is the bit I think that it was the understanding is that, hey, the you that's here will never meet your mother
or maybe
because she's gone.
no, maybe it's later after he passes.
Oh my God! Wait.
Because she's not that old.
wait.
She's only like
Oh,
7.
oh shit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, hang on.
And an epiphany is happening.
Well, okay, so we should point out that the thing stops at the point where he says goodbye and steps into the time machine. And it's like, and show's over. And you're like, fuck you if that's the ending. But then, of course, what we see is Suzuha and Mayuri, who have landed the time machine. 18,000 BC is the year, so
Yeah.
there's no humans.
There's nothing.
And it's just a dust storm, basically.
Yeah.
But then they see a light in the distance, and who comes walking out? But Okabe.
Mm-hmm. And states how calls them my lovelies.
Yep, and he said, you knew I'd be back. I promised."
Yeah.
But I've just realized how this resolves.
Mm-hmm. They go back in time to the future.
All
All
they need to. But in my head, I was just like, "Fuck this." Why is this the end of this show? It's so annoying.
Yeah.
But I've realized that the only thing left to do is for them to just go back to where he left
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
Meaning, well, the thing is though is that that's still not Steins Gate though,
No, they're not in Steins Gate there.
because Kurusu's still not there.
Yeah, it seems that way. But maybe she's dead for another reason. And also it's World War III still. Maybe.
So, my statement stands. Fuck this ending.
It's still technically World War III because they're all in army gear. But it goes down to the point where this is all on the beta world line.
Yeah.
And he does get to Steins Gate because the influence still the world line enough for him to go back into the reality. Not this one.
I don't know.
It's
a very unsatisfying end. I'm glad they're saved. I'm glad that we just didn't see them disappear and that was it. And I'm glad that he went back and fixed that.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that we have been doing this for 6 months,
Yeah.
and apparently we never get to see them reach Steins Gate is a little bit
You do.
infuriating. No, you don't.
You do.
How?
That was like the end of the first season.
No, it's not, because Kurisu's dead.
So at the end of the first season, Chris is alive. He bumps into her and does all that weird awkward thing, and then goes to America for an OAV, and does like the really awkward shit. And then they have a whole movie set afterwards where he's like bumping out in and out of time.
Oh.
There's like a good 2 hours worth of Steins Gate for this season.
And all they did was complain while they were there.
That's humans. That's what we do. That's what we do best. Complain about shit. Look at the entire internet. It's like, oh,
yeah,
fuck you fucking weirdos, just looking at killing all these animals. Fucking PETA being like, I'm going to be like a human meat disco thing. I don't know. Apparently, it was a protest.
I'm going to be a human meat disco.
Disco, human meat disco. That's just a disco. Anyway,
if we named episodes, this episode would be called Human Meat Disco.
well, you know, it's not far off it. It's certainly a disco, and there's a lot of human meat getting chopped. Anyway, no, there was like some PETA women protesting about how eating animals is murder type thing, so she decided to put herself in a bag, like a bit of meat, in the middle of sitting.
Did she suffocate?
No, I don't think it was that bad. I think she did, but like, I don't know, there's some weird protest which makes no sense. It makes sense in a degree, but at the same time, it's like, I think there's like things that kind of contradict her argument in herself on this. If you look into it hard enough, there'll be something contradicting. Like, it's just basically someone trying to get attention for nothing and claim it's for a good cause. And
That's fair.
I feel maybe PETA is that sometimes. It's like, oh, you're doing animal testing on rats and shit. Well, you know what? I found out who you are, and I'm going to dig up your grandmother. They did that.
That doesn't seem right.
They did that. It's like, fuck off.
Well, that aside, you know, feelings on PETA be damned.
Mm-hmm.
How do you rate this last episode then?
The episode, sure, it was interesting enough. It was like, oh, this is how they done it. Okay, I don't know. It wasn't anticlimactics. About an 8 or a 7.
7's where I landed.
I think as a series, I feel like they made the series just so, one, to flesh out the relationships, and two, to give a story of why Mayuri did that crazy U-turn and slapped him in the end of like the last season.
Like, ultimately, I think on the face of it, the concept that, as you said, they achieved whatever sort of semblance of Steins Gate there was at the end of season 1 and the movie, so on and so forth. It's only logical because that's all you can take that all back to that one point.
Yeah.
Because if she doesn't do that, you know, something else happens, and I think that's an interesting thing to investigate. I will say though, I feel like the kind of gymnastics and stuff around the time travel are pretty cool. Like the idea of like how they sent messages and how they have to like tee things up to make things happen is really interesting.
Oh yeah, for the
But I think the Amadeus thing is really underutilized.
The Amadeus thing seems like, oh, well, she's dead in this world. How are we going to bring her back? Oh, you know what? She did this, so let's say that she's now a robot.
I like the first episodes where that was a thing. I was like, this is great.
Yeah,
Like
you were excited.
this is really cool. And like, not that it wasn't really cool. It's just that I kind of wanted that to be the main crux of it.
Mhm.
Was about sort of the implications of there being an entity that understood a person's memories to a point, and he understood beyond that, and the complications of that. I guess I kind of wanted more of a human element to it than I got, but
Yeah,
still good. I don't think it's as good as the first season.
oh, definitely not. I was, I don't know. I don't know if I would watch it all if I wasn't doing it for this.
I think you know how you said it before. Actually, it's like you can tell like there's a game in this.
Yeah,
Like I think the game probably felt really good.
yeah. I mean, it's like I say, there's a lot of in it that they tried to do, and it's kind of I felt maybe the last 4 or 5 episodes were rushed, and they could have maybe
Yeah,
spaced that out a bit more. But they decided to go, you know what, we need like to tell the story how Daru met his mother, uh, and
and then forget about all of her anime friends and the fact that we didn't close any loops on why she continued to go to the hospital for further testing and he didn't. And
yeah, and it never went. It was like, oh, like she's still getting this test. Oh no, it's fine. We're just getting these tests done. And
it's a red herring.
how she
That's all it was.
how she also seemed to like remember the exact same time loop that he did. Never explored again.
Nah,
It's like
not once.
just that one time, and then
We've pretty much talked about this, Colin,
uh
since the 13th of March.
13th of March. And you know what
And by the
else
time
is happening on the 13th of October? Your Steam Deck.
you said that, but it can't. That's not possible.
It's not. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
That's,
It's impossible. Uh, I've already seen the way that the delivery scheme works, and it should be fine.
all right. Okay. Okay.
I am a week behind someone else,
Oh, so you know somebody else has got theirs already.
well, I'm 10 days behind someone else. Actually, now that I think about it,
Like you know, has it?
yeah,
Yeah. All right. Okay.
and they it's really interesting actually. You know how I was showing you the chart, the thing that shows you like the prediction of, hey, your order is so much percent complete.
Uh-huh.
Well, they only update that on Mondays and Thursdays, which is when they do the email drops to say, hey, you can now complete your purchase. Mine was exactly right. On the Thursday, mine was at 104%. It was like, yep, you're going to get your email tonight.
104%.
And it was, yeah, because like they'll only do them on a Thursday or a Monday. Like on Monday, it was at 98%. So it wasn't going to happen. But on Thursday, it was at 104. So
All right.
there you go.
That's also impossible.
It is.
Uh,
But also, unless you watch My Hero Academia, where everyone's talking about 110%.
yeah, give it 110%.
Plus ultra. I'll need to go more. I'll need to go more than my body has room for.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, we've been talking about it since the 13th of March.
Yep. And this episode will air on the 2nd of October, and our final Steins Gate episode will air on the 9th of October, which is the OVA.
Yeah.
And then it's on to Spooky Month.
Spooky month, spectaculars all the way
Yep.
through.
Halloween Spectacular. So we'll probably be doing Halloween episodes right the way through. So that'll mean on the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th will all be Spooky Time fun.
Spooky time fun. Yeah. That's,
So we did it. We've done it. I know we've got the OVA to do, but we've done it.
yeah, we got through this slog. Like I say, I still think this one is kind of just it's made for two reasons. One, to fill in just to give the backstory why Mayuri slots him, and all the wee little niggles in it.
Yep.
And there's like they could have done that in 12 episodes. They could have done school days and just like hit off the beat of like 3 episodes for this, 3 episodes.
Yep.
Because like
Just go with the seasons and have it done with.
so, I mean, like, what is Amadeus is other than AI? That's all, and it was nothing. And then you had like the whole horror scenes where they break in and start doing shit again, and CERN's still a thing. Mr. Braun's still connected to like the underdogs of CERN somehow,
Yeah.
but they do
It just
nothing.
feels like there's a lot of stuff that's broached but ignored
Yeah,
that in some instances would have been more interesting to know about.
yeah, I think they could easily have done more with it.
Well, we will finish up season 7. It will be episode 27.
A proper
So we'll
proper season.
proper. Yeah, that is a. It's half a year.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's half a year.
Well, we already
So
talked about it's almost half a year since it's the last episode's
shit.
airing on the 9th.
In fact, it'll just be over half a year. Holy crap. So that being said, we've made it.
Mm-hmm.
You have been listening to Who's That Anime,
Mm-hmm.
a podcast about anime sometimes. Our home is at anchor.fm/Who's That Anime. We can be found where all good podcasts can be found: Spotify, Audible, Amazon Podcast, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast. Anything where an RSS feed can be used to bring down audio. If you would be kind enough to give us a review, that would be amazing. 5 stars is absolutely welcome. Anything left with some lovely constructive criticism, absolutely welcome also. If you've already reviewed us, or if you don't have the ability to do that because of the way you listen to us, and you do like what we do, it would be really awesome if you would tell a friend. We don't make any money doing this, so no advertising bucks or anything like that. We just spend our money on anime streaming.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really, really cool. We have a Facebook page. It's at facebook.com/Who's That Anime, where we post up the newest episodes and occasionally talk about funny anime things. We have a Discord that is in the show notes. You'll find the link to that.
Mm-hmm.
Colin has very painstakingly been putting together our YouTube components to this, which is basically video episodes. We are now, I believe, almost caught up to modern day.
Yes. So the first part of Steins Gate 0 should be going live about the same time this episode's live.
Nice.
And
So,
there you go.
nearly there.
Nearly there. And then next one will be Vampires in the Garden. In the Midnight Garden.
Vampires in the Midnight Garden.
Still think that should be a thing.
I mean, probably.
And then it's the second part of the Steins Gate 0 escapade, and then we'll do the spectacular stuff.
And then who knows?
Yeah, I mean, need to work out the schedule fully.
It's all right. I mean, the most important thing is that you raise a valid point. We will at some point need to figure out what we're going to watch next.
Yeah, I have some suggestions.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Further to that, on talking about the YouTube component, Colin and I also like to play video games every now and then. Colin at twitch.tv/couchfuel and myself at twitch.tv/hailpayman. We haven't played much live there lately,
Oh,
but
no.
if you would like a nice
Been a year.
archive of the videos and bits like that we've played before, you can find those at the YouTube channels of the same names. Just search for Couchfuel or search for Hail Payman. And that's us. We did it.
We did it. We're actually through it. I mean, I don't think it was as bad as fucking Haruhi Suzumiya, The Melancholy, season 2.
So I agreed. It's not I mean, it's way better than that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's way better than that. But the catharsis of the movie, the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya,
Uh-huh.
is it just completely changes. Like, it doesn't matter how bad season 2 is at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's just more. I think there's just something with it. It's just doesn't sit right with me this season.
The Steins Gate Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's just, it feels like there's some missed opportunities, and like, as much as I liked some of the narrative and the characters, and I do like the way they sort of kind of wrapped it up a little bit at the end is okay, even though there's some annoyance there, and that we never actually see them really ultimately get to where they are at the end of this specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, just as I say, like, the Amadeus thing bothers me more than most of it, where it's just like, there seems like a story there that never got told, or more detail that just would have been more interesting inevitably than some of the stuff we ended up talking about.
I mean,
So,
yeah, it's all based off games, so maybe the game fleshes out a lot more, which I think it probably will do as the time.
totally. I mean, it could do that, or, just by virtue of the medium being different, maybe it's experientially different, and that's okay. We'll maybe still have to arrange playing those at some point.
Oh yeah, maybe next year as a remembratorium. A remembratorium? Sure, let's go with that.
Sure, that would be the second name for this episode.
Remembratorium.
Remembratorium.
What was the first one?
Human Meat Disco?
Human Meat
or
Disco, yeah.
Something like that.
It was Human Meat
It's
Disco.
pretty good also. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Title of my band.
Well, Remembratorium is the name of your first album. Well, we finally did it. We'll be back to talk about the OVA where the stakes are going to be a little bit less. So, nice, chilled out, shorter episode for the next one before we return with our Halloween spectacular fun and games.
Oh, yep. Well, might be more chilled out next time. We don't know yet, unless you watched it.
No, that's I haven't watched it. Maybe it won't be chilled out.
I mean, it seems pretty chilled out from the trailer I saw at the end.
God, I hope so.
And it's was it something called Valentine something?
It's a Valentine's Day one, right?
Yeah. A Japanese Valentine's Day where the girls make everything for the guys.
Oh, lovely.
That's
Well,
how it works.
see us out.
Alright.
We're good.
Well, that's been us, Who's an Anime, host Stephen Collin. We're not discoing it up. I'm doing, like, Power Ranger stuff. Start up. It's really hard to talk if you're moving your hands like that.
Just gesticulating. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know how you mean.
just the way I do it. I just point and go.
Oh, you mean like Donald Sutherland at the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Yes. Yeah.
Just.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't remember that. That's some goofy ass shit.
It's also goofy, but also genuinely horrifying.
Yeah, or end of Spider-Verse where all the three Spider-Men start pointing at each other, going, "You, not you, you. Who are you? Who are you?"
That's how it works.
60s Batman animation style too. Right, anyway, that's it. That's been us. We're signing off. Same anime place, same anime time. OAV of Steins Gate Zero. Valentine's Day thing.
Fun times ahead. Bye, folks.
It'll have an overcomplicated name.
It will.
See you later.
Find out next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.